On the morning of May 29, 1979, a gunshot shook the upscale neighborhood of Alamo Heights in San Antonio, Texas, bringing an end to the life of a man who had made toughness the hallmark of justice. Judge John Harlin Wood, Jr., known in judicial circles as Maximum John, was not just another judge in Texas courts. From the moment he stepped onto the bench, he made it clear that he did not believe in leniency and gave offenders no chance to escape punishment. He handed down harsh sentences to drug traffickers, which some considered merciless, causing many to shrink away at the mere sight of him. In his notebook, he kept a list of the offenders he had sentenced to life imprisonment, with no mercy or pardon. To everyone who knew him, Maximum John was a symbol of combative justice, a man who stood for the law no matter the cost. On the other side, darkness loomed over another man, Jimmy Chagra. He rose from the slums of El Paso to the pinnacle of marijuana trafficking in the 1970s, and his immense wealth enabled him to build an empire, rivaling even judges in influence. His luxurious mansions in Las Vegas and lavish parties masked the destruction he wrought behind the scenes. In front of Judge Wood, Chagra knew that his future and freedom were on the line. A single ruling could end everything. When attempts to bribe the judge with millions of dollars failed, Chagra's face betrayed true fear and resentment, the fear of losing his power and liberty forever. Chagra was not a man of idle threats. He secretly contacted a professional hitman, Charles Harrelson, a man whose life was steeped in crime and who was never satisfied by money or fame. Chagra made Harrelson an offer he couldn't refuse, a bundle of cash in exchange for a single bullet to decide Maximum John's fate. At that moment, this was no longer about bribery or blackmail. It was a life-or-death battle woven from threads of money and power. As Judge Wood placed his hand on the handle of his black work car, the sniper calmly raised his rifle. The scene unfolded in perfect detail. Soft morning sighs, the whisper of wind through the branches of an old oak tree. In a split second, a deafening sound rang out. A bullet sliced through the air and ended the judge's life. Silence fell once more, but this time it was the silence of farewell for one of the pillars of justice known to the American West. Within minutes of the shot, crime detection alarms revealed the location of the incident. FBI agents rushed to the scene, pitching investigation tents along Meadows Brook Street. More than 30,000 interviews were conducted, around 500,000 documents were collected, and the investigation dug into political and criminal depths never seen before. The aim was not just to convict the killer, it was to dismantle a complex web of influence, money, and intimidation. After 3 years of intense investigation, the final list of those convicted emerged. Charles Harrelson, sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of murdering the judge. Jimmy Chagra, acquitted of the murder charge, but sentenced to 30 years for drug trafficking and obstructing justice. Joe Chagra, his wife, and other members of the conspiracy network received various sentences ranging from 10 to 30 years behind bars. These trials were a dramatic spectacle that left no corner of the crime unexplored and exposed how corruption and violence can combine to form a legal nightmare. But the story did not end with the trials. In 2003, Chagra returned to the spotlight with a shocking statement. Harrelson wasn't the real killer. This confession reopened a flood of questions. Was there a second shooter? Were other hands involved in the conspiracy? As whispers continue to circulate, Judge John H. Wood, Jr. remains etched in memory. A symbol of justice that never shies from confrontation, even when struck down by a treacherous bullet.